Oh yeah, we live, baby. I would like to welcome everybody to the Mighty Well Podcast TA Takeover, and we are your hosts, Breevie and Julian. Julian, say what's up, my friend.
What's up, guys? Welcome.
so love having you on, man. Me and Julian were just talking about Luna miners. I was just in a Twitter space with them. Super excellent project. They're essentially going to be a DAO forming that is going to buy KDA miners. They're looking to buy like 10 to 12 of them up front. And then the DAO is going to be able to vote to see what they want to do with the revenue, if they want to buy more miners, if they want to invest in projects, et cetera, et cetera. But definitely something you guys want to look out for. Also, before we dive into today's episode, I got to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. That's Orbital Command. They're community validator on Terra who invests in educating, promoting, and expanding the Terra LUNA community. And you can show the OC team some support for what they're doing by checking out the Terra DApp Expo June 9th and June 10th in Austin, Texas, baby. We talking 50 plus protocols coming through. We're talking the Zen Room, gaming lounge, charity basketball game, ramen eating contest, a bunch of different panels, a bunch of different workshops. Shit's gonna go crazy. Woo! Dude, Julian, are you sliding actually?
Yeah, I can't make it. I gotta race until the 10th, and I just can't believe it. I want to go so bad.
It's all right, my friend.
I'll make it next year though.
Yes, dude. You have to slide next year. Also, we're gonna be live streaming everything via terabytes and maybe another avenue that we haven't announced yet. But maybe we'll announce some things.
Wonderful, yeah. Make it live stream, make it online so we can all participate.
Yeah, dude. I want as many lunatics there physically and online as possible, man.
For sure.
It's gonna be so huge, man. It's gonna be just like so much alpha that gets dropped. Like it's gonna be like absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
But before we nerd out too much on Terra DApp Expo, because you nerd out on that all day. I see you got the Bitcoin chart pulled up here. How's our market looking, my friend?
Ooh, it's been a rough week, honestly. So this is just kind of zooming out a bit. I had been looking at this Wyckoff accumulation chart. Quick explainer on Wyckoff. Old guy essentially said whales manipulate markets to milk retail as much as possible. That's just the most basic way to explain his thesis. And he kind of had these chart patterns, kind of layouts that kind of break down certain ways that whales will try to manipulate markets in order to kind of milk retail as much as possible. So if we look at this pattern up here, you got different phases of the accumulation range and different kind of zones that you want to be touching near tops and near bottom. So we can actually see that the pattern still kind of matches this Wyckoff accumulation. Essentially, when you break up, you're giving retail hope, and then you come back down, then you break down, you give retail, get scared, and that's usually where they buy, then they break up. But really, it's all about milking retail before breaking out. Right now, if Bitcoin holds right around 34.5, we could still be holding support. It was a rough week because we had the Fed speaking on Wednesday. This was the big green candle we had. Everything was looking pretty nice. Wednesday, it was looking good. And then the next day, it was just brutal. Just completely retraced everything. Like that was just pretty brutal on Thursday. Friday wasn't much better. It slowed down a bit. And today is just weekends are low liquidity. Not much happens over the weekend. As we can see, usually weekends are just low liquidity, small candles. So right now, what might happen? What am I looking at? I'm expecting Monday to be kind of a big day. So it's going to kind of be a big day in terms of what's going to happen next. One potential option with the market overall is we kind of just be flat for the weekend. Then Monday, we could either break down with a wick and come back. So that would be what we call up here a spring. A spring is essentially it's almost a bear trap. You're tricking people that you're going to finally lose that support. People freak out. Everyone else opens shorts. And then you kind of recover that support area, which is that 34.7K area, right around there. It's really a range, but it's kind of right around that area. So one thing is kind of getting these wicks and coming back. We can actually go back to last summer where we didn't actually have a wick. We had 2 days where we closed below 30K, or I think it was just one day. Yeah. One day where we closed below 30K. And that was that kind of wick, that loss of support. So over the summer, we had been losing 30K once with a wick, but we quickly recovered that. And then we finally had that day where we did close below 30K and everyone gave up. Like that was where everyone went full short. This is it. We're going to 20. And then we recovered. So that's usually what you call this bear trap scenario where you kind of finally lose that support. So right now that support is closer to that 35, 34K area. That said, we still could test that 30K. Like this range down here was a range that we lived in through the summer that we haven't touched at all since. We've been trading far above it, between that 35 and 45K range, which is really big kind of sideways movement range. So right now, what am I looking for? What do I want to see? Well, I would want to see Bitcoin hold above this range. If we break into this lower range, it might get ugly. I'm pretty sure Saylor, Michael Saylor, could get liquidated. I think it was 32K is where he gets margin called on Bitcoin.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
That's horrible.
it's bad. So I'll jump over to Glassnode real quick just to show some other information, but yeah, it's definitely not good. So one option is you can hover right above it. He borrows more money to keep us above it and buy off the market. That's an option. And then otherwise, I am looking towards kind of that 24K range because there's this big gap. Essentially, if we kind of zoom out a whole lot, there's this gap from the all-time high until now, and 90% of the time you're going to be testing that price range. So really all-time high is right around here at 20K. There's just this big gap that we never tested, never got to. Historically, you're going to be getting there at some point, but doesn't necessarily have to happen. We could just consolidate here forever. Which in my opinion
would scaring the shit out of me.
Hey, I'm just trying to be as blunt as possible. Like we want to give people the full information. Like I would honestly prefer if we just bounced here. Like my ideal scenario moving forward would be something like kind of forming either a rounded bottom right here and coming back up, or just getting that wick that we mentioned, coming back up, doing something like this. So like all of those would be ideal. Overall, we're still holding that support. We haven't broken down yet, but I do want to mention if we lose that 30K, I will not be surprised to kind of see this movement down to 20K pretty quickly. So between 31K and 20K. You know, it's a 30% drop for Bitcoin. Alts are going to get completely destroyed.
Yeah, get wrecked. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's just like, I want people to be aware, you know, protect your anchor loans. Everyone that has anchor loans, full DN at the moment. It's a lot more better have money on the sideline, ready to buy the dip, ready to dollar cost average, rather than just thinking like, oh, I'm going to buy now. It is a general area of support. I would not buy your whole bag right now. So right now you're catching a knife. Traders don't like catching knives. They like waiting for a bottoming pattern. So for example, the recent bottoming pattern on Bitcoin back here was when we kind of broke out here, made this higher low, and this was a nice kind of bottoming formation that, okay, we can have and push up at least to the top of the range.
Yeah. Okay.
You just kind of want to be waiting for something better.
Yeah, because it's not looking too good. I mean, like when you look at the Wyckoff
again,
pattern,
liquidation, Saylor liquidation level, I can't recall it.
Oh, I think you cut out, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
There. Perfect. What were you saying? My bad.
No, like I was just I think Saylor's liquidation level is kind of the point to be most mindful of.
Yeah. And you
like,
said that's 32K, right?
I can't remember the exact numbers. I'll send that later. We can put in the show notes and everything. But it is right around this area. Let's see. It should be like right in this zone between 32 and 30K. That said, it is big money, so they don't get have some time to kind of manage that position. So we just have to be careful with that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Scary times we're in, my friend, especially if you're a DJ like me who has anchor loans.
I mean, let's see.
It broke up real bad. Can you say what you just said again?
Broke a thick line, yeah. Like that 76K area, I mean $76 area is very important for Luna. But we do have the 200 moving average, which historically is an area where Luna likes to bounce. So we bounced back here in January.
So we're right at the 200 MA.
We're right at it. So far, we've bounced off it just a little bit.
Yeah.
So what am I looking for Luna? Again, it's going to be dependent on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin breaks down, I could see Luna doing something like this.
Yeah.
You're going to be retesting that 200 MA on the underside before coming down pretty low. So far, we're holding. So I would love for Luna to hold right around here. Let's say we do something like we did last time we were in the 200 MA range, where we kind of touched it, we bounced, then we did a higher low here. That's what I would love to see. Higher low on 76. That's where I'd look to buy again. If we touch kind of $82, then buying that 76, that would be the place to buy, not right now. Because right now you're just hovering with how low can I go, you know?
Yeah.
So really you want to see that structure break. You want to make kind of this movement of higher low, making a little bit of higher high. We'd actually make some form of inverse head and shoulders, which tends to be a bottoming pattern. Something like that is what I'd look for Luna in the bullish scenario.
Okay.
In the bearish scenario, which we have to consider with where Bitcoin's at and everything else, it would be a breakdown, possibly all the way to $60 at this point, because there is a bit of a gap in terms of price action. Then a retest of 70. That's usually where you're going to get a lot of liquidity that just exits the market. You're kind of your exit bounce. And it's going to be that tag, underside tag of the 200. And then we're going to be moving down probably towards that 43 area.
Oh,
yeah, rough. So
very rough.
Again, this is the bearish scenario. And if we're going to be going to 43, it means Bitcoin's going to be going below 30. So again, 43 is 36% below us. I only see this happening if Bitcoin breaks down here. So we have to be aware of it. We have to be like very conscious. Again, if Bitcoin does a full nuke, I would expect some resistance or some three. But that said, we could just kind of keep moving if Bitcoin moves down. So those are the ranges or the areas I'm looking at right now. I really want to kind of see this bullish scenario play out again, where we kind of make this higher low at 76, and that's kind of the area where you want to buy. But with everything happening, Bitcoin's the ocean, alts are the sandcastles. If the ocean decides to do a big wave, sandcastles just blow over.
Yep, exactly. That's why when you were talking about Bitcoin earlier, I was like, oh my goodness, if it breaks down, like what does that mean for Luna and like the rest of the market, dude? Like,
it's definitely not pretty. So we really want to see Bitcoin hold. I think it's with the correlation at the moment, looking at Luna and Bitcoin without looking at something like the NASDAQ or the S&P. Like these charts just look so wrecked. We can see the S&P had this underside tag of the 200, which we talked about with Luna. They tagged it twice actually. So the first breakdown, then it went lower, then it tagged it again, then going lower. Like this chart doesn't look like it has a bottom anytime soon.
Oh, yikes.
And with the correlation with crypto and tech, like the NASDAQ, like I just don't see crypto moving differently until we break that correlation. So we really need to break that correlation with something like the NASDAQ in order to avoid crypto going lower.
Okay.
I did want to hop over to Glassnode because this is the Bitcoin realized price. And it's a very nice indicator to kind of catch like really deep bottoms in bear markets. We can see most of the history, Bitcoin trades above the realized price. And the realized price is kind of the average price that Bitcoin has been traded at throughout history. So it's like this big price where people say, trading above it is fair because that's kind of the average of where it's been traded. We can see that in full bulls, it trades far above it, and in deep bears, it trades below it. But most of the time, it doesn't trade below it for very long. It's going to be coming back above it. We can see 2018 over here. We traded above it for a while, kind of sideways, until we finally broke down and had the final capitulation. That was like the final moment when people were really giving up. And then we had a tap again during that COVID crash. So far, we haven't touched it. We haven't really even got close to it this time around. So
is that good that we haven't done that?
I mean, kind of. Really, you just want to see, like if we're gonna get to it, we want to see how price reacts. Like back here in 2018, we traded below it for almost 4 months. But as always, like these are moments where it's like the very best time to buy something like Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because it's trading below its that fair price or that average price in history. We can see it was there for 4 months. That was like the deepest moment in bear market. I think what's his name? BitBoy was making conspiracy videos on aliens at that point, like not even talking about crypto. Like that's kind of like full capitulation, people really giving up. And then it comes back. So if you really want to see kind of that big reset in crypto, that's where we're going to be going. I think the biggest difference to 2018 versus now is people aren't questioning whether crypto is going to be around for another cycle. People are questioning, where can I get the best value for my money if we go lower?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just looking at realized price right now. Realized price for Bitcoin is right around 24K, just above it. So if we go there, it matches with that high in 2017 of right around 20K. To kind of between that range of 25K, 20K, that's like where you really want to be selling your house, selling your kids, and buying Bitcoin. Like,
dude, that's kind of how I feel about like if like you were saying, like the bear scenario for Luna, it going to like in the 40s, man.
Right.
I am throwing everything I can at Luna in the 40s.
I mean, my biggest issue with Luna going down so much at the moment is that it just doesn't match a lot of the developments. Like,
exactly.
Fundamentally, there's been so much happening. I'm just loading Smart Stake real quick because the Luna burn, I think we haven't had this low circulating supply in a while. Looks like we did actually mint some Luna the other day and burn some UST, which is actually good to see. It's good for validators.
Okay.
But still, like we've been trading below 100,000 circulating supply for Luna for basically the whole month, I think. Which is really rare. Since April 15th, we've been trading below 100,000 circulating supply. So Luna, there's just very little Luna going around right now. To me, that's a big indicator that the price isn't really matching what's happening on chain. 4Pool just went live. Hexagon Finance is going live. Like there's big things happening. There's a lot of updates. But again, if Bitcoin decides it wants to nuke, you can have all the builders in the world. But to me, that just shows who's going to come back later stronger. So again, that's just kind of what I've been watching. Something else that I've been watching on Bitcoin is the percent of supply that was last active 1 year ago. So this kind of shows that people haven't been selling, haven't been moving their Bitcoin at all for at least a year. And that's just been going up. It's just been showing kind of this maturity in the market. It's people that maybe even bought the top in May and they just don't care to sell. So one thing that we might see is these people just giving up like we did in this capitulation where like a lot of these people sold into this bottom. But we can also see a lot of people kept holding. And whenever you don't really see these long-term holders selling until you're kind of getting these real rallies that go up where price can be absorbed. So realistically, we've been in a bear market since May 2021. And we've just been trading sideways. We haven't really had new users coming in. So it's just some things I'm watching out for. It's just been a very large, very long accumulation range. If we look at active addresses as well for Bitcoin, like we have not had great activity since May. We have been making higher lows, which is nice. Activity has been slightly coming back, but if we look at this huge peak we had in 2017, like we barely got over that in May. And then we've just been trading like slightly above it. So again, we kind of want retail to start coming back in. We want like some more attention, some more eyes coming back into the market.
Yeah, see, we're in like a situation that I kind of wasn't like really expecting. Like I was kind of more so expecting us to kind of be on a run right now as far as Luna is concerned.
Right.
Just when, yeah, I mean, just from all the technicals show us in the shitter for sure, but the fundamentals are.
I
I mean,
agree.
we have so many things that are happening in Luna now. As far as the our national sponsorship. We got the baseball season going, so there's just constant impressions. We are top 10 cryptocurrency, almost in the top 5 at this point.
Yep.
UST and Luna are both in top 10 now.
Yep.
And it's so like we have all these fundamental things that are happening right now. Especially in like you were saying, like even with the liquid circulating supply being at its lowest that it's ever been, meaning it's the audience out there, meaning buying Luna is, Luna is scarce right now, right? Like for me,
Yep.
I always wonder, like, when are the technicals going to catch up with the fundamentals, right? Like, when are we going to see this huge? Because there's got to be a huge movement in price at some point. It's too much happening.
Hey, I agree.
I
agree.
Yeah. It's too much going on.
We'll have to see. Like, really, just outstanding factors in the market have been taking such a huge role right now. So until crypto kind of decouples from all that trash of legacy finance, we're just kind of see this slowing down and almost suffering of prices. I just pulled up the Luna Bitcoin chart because Luna has been really outperforming Bitcoin for the past year. And we had been kind of making this consolidation range above the all-time high that we had in January. Right now, we're kind of at support. We're at the edge of the Bollinger Bands. Like, really, we're at that range or that area where you don't want to lose, but it is a good area. We had been making a little bit of this diagonal pattern. I don't love diagonal patterns, but I had kind of been drawing them out just to see if we would break that pattern.
Yeah.
But really, we're doing this horizontal pattern where we have like this big support area right here where we've been in since the end of February. And right now we're like right in that support zone. We might just go a little bit lower. Again, it's what I was mentioning, maybe even tag that $70. But really we are like where you'd expect some kind of bounce from Luna to at least tag this 22 Satoshis area. So just looking at this, I would expect either like against Bitcoin, similar thing, we either just bounce here and kind of test this area to do something like that, or we just break below. We're going to be trading worse than Bitcoin and then do something like this. Again, I kind of still think Luna will probably be outperforming Bitcoin, so I wouldn't be surprised to kind of just see this range relatively sideways.
Yeah.
So it's just something worth watching at the moment because Luna had been doing much better than Bitcoin, and just the past couple of days, Bitcoin kind of slowed down its sell-off, whereas Luna has continued to have a little bit more aggressive selling. So it's just something to kind of be watching out for, monitoring, seeing how that does.
Now, let's kind of get into some alts, my friend.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see what we got going on in the alt world. You want to start off with? Let's start off with Anchor, low key. I want to see how this V-Ank announcement, what that's kind of done for the token, because that's gonna be
it was
huge.
doing really well the other day. because we can kind of see it did pretty well the other day, and then it just kind of slowed down.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Let's see.
it's in a market that's like pulling it down. So like even like huge news like actually giving Ank utility is is still not helping. Oh my goodness.
So like it's been struggling. We remember
Yeah.
this was the whole Arca trying to steal the votes here, and the community voted against them. So Arca just sold all their ANC tokens. Then we've just been really struggling with price. We are near kind of bottoms, and it looked like it was breaking out with this news today. It's really just matching Luna at this point.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Anchor kind of form a little bit of a higher low right around here. That would kind of be a good area for Anchor to bounce. We're really right where it is. Maybe we'll get a wick a little bit lower, but just closing up here. And like, again, it's with all these alts, like I'd rather see Anchor just kind of be doing something like this, where it's just kind of slowly creeping up instead of doing one of these crazy movements like it did with Arca. I don't see Anchor disappearing. I know there's been a lot of FUD with the 20% and everything. I think there's been a lot of work that's been going into managing that.
Yeah.
So again,
I don't see it disappearing
it's something
either.
Yeah, like it's something worth monitoring. I think there's definitely a lot of things that can happen in order to support it. So let's see how it works out. I think yeah, like the tokenomics being changed to V anchored definitely helped. It should do better. It was doing better. It had really good days. Like I think yesterday and Thursday, like everything was red and Anchor was one of the only ones that was green.
Yeah.
And it had really good volume. Like really that shows me good volume, but then you kind of see the sell off again, and it's like, let's see if we can form a little bit of a higher low here. We don't want to go to 160 again. We want to really stay right around here, see if we can form that higher low.
Yeah. And it's actually kind of crazy because you actually kind of think there'd be a little bit more price movement just at the rate that they've been adding new crypto for collateral onto the platform, right?
Yeah, Soul just went live.
Yeah, Soul's
Adam
live.
went live a couple weeks ago. Like, hey, it's coming along. It's been improving for sure. So like the amount of work going into Anchor gives me confidence that's going to stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Tokenomics were never good. They're fixing them now. So that's kind of where you have that problem with tokenomics and then protocol just not matching up.
Yeah. It's super unfortunate because I don't hold Ink either. And the reason being was because of the tokenomics. Like it's kind of like more of a farm token prior to this V-Ank upgrade.
Yeah, totally. So now with V-Ank, it should fix up a bit. It's going to be interesting to watch it. Did you want to cover one or two more before we wrap things up?
Yeah. Let's cover one or two more. You want to do like Astro? Let's do Astro. And then we'll do like a dealer's choice, whichever one you.
Sure. Astro War is underway.
I know. We got a lot of battles going on right now. We got Astro Wars, Prism Wars should be coming up soon. Got Ank Wars people are talking about.
It's getting interesting. I think with the Astro Wars, it's gonna be interesting to kind of see how it plays out. I know Retrograde, Reactor pulled out. Like they kind of called it quits recently.
Oh, did they? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first fallen of the Astro Wars, which was sad to see. So right now, looking at Astro, this is what we're seeing here. We're kind of right in that range where it was like a fair buy, if you will. If it can hold this area right between 170, 270, 250. Like, it's a good range if these continue to be wicks. So we see 1, 2, 3, right now 4 wicks thus far into this area. As I would like Astra to close just a little bit higher, maybe 73, 273, 75, to just give me a little bit more confidence. Otherwise, I can definitely see it coming back down to $2.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just something to watch out for. Otherwise, it does look decent if we can just kind of move sideways. Just watching it kind of play out like this. That's kind of what I'm looking at. If we do close below this 270 area, let's say closing right at 260 or something, I wouldn't be surprised to kind of watch it come down to 210, 28, kind of back down to this area down here.
Oh, good. That'd be an amazing
just because there is this kind of big gap.
Yeah, and
how are you? Would be nice.
And how are you getting the gaps? Like, how do we understand where the gaps are?
So with gaps, I'm looking at kind of price action and how price behaves. So we can see we have these tops here. We had like a range where price traded for a while. So we can see this range here, and then we can see the range above us. So this is kind of the other range up here. And we can see that there's kind of this gap of price where price just kind of jumped up. We didn't get a higher low. We didn't get like a big difference. We just got this gap. This big gap tends to, if we come back to it, it tends to get filled. Like we tend to kind of just jump to that next area of support, because it means there's either few buyers or few buyers that got like a fair price. And people aren't really willing to buy in this empty space. They want to buy where there's some support, where they know other people are also going to be stepping in. So again, charting is also very tied to like psychology of the market kind of thing. You don't want to buy in this empty space. You want to buy when you know others are probably going to be buying as well.
Okay.
So right now, others are buying. We can see that Astro is at support of the current range. So we want to see that hold this area so far. It has held in the past, so all's good there. But we don't want to be going lower to that lower range. So if we do go lower, we can kind of draw out that bearish scenario. We do something like this, tag it above probably, and then come down and then just do something like this.
Okay. Build up
so
more
that's
buyers.
usually what you tend to see in like that bearish movement.
Ooh. Yeah. Things are about to get wrecked, it seems like, so far. Like every chart.
Well, I mean, I really don't want to be super bearish. I just want to lay out kind of both scenarios as much as possible. Let people be safe. We are at support. So until we break that support, we get confirmation of breaking supports on everything. We don't want to be selling support. People get super bearish at support where we usually bounce, and then they get super bullish at resistance where it's like the most likely place to reject. So we have to kind of consider we're trading in a zone, and how are we going to be behaving in that zone?
Okay.
We need to wait for confirmation until we can kind of pick our side.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do a dealer's choice, my friend. Which one? What's the next alt you want to look at?
Ooh, I'd say it'd be anywhere between Apollo that has been kind of doing Astro Wars, or Orion. Like those two have been big players in the Astro Wars, so you can pick between them.
Let's do my folks over at Apollo, man.
Let's see, Apollo. They've been making moves.
Yes.
I think they're in third place ranking on the Astro Wars right now, but I don't think that's counting their current holdings, because they hold a lot of Apollo, a lot of Astro already. So this chart definitely got beat up.
Ooh, God.
Quite a bit. But again, we're like at this support right there. So we had this crazy move recently, which was just really crazy. We are making a lower low after breaking this spot right here, which isn't great to see. We could always just wick back above it.
Yeah.
Let's see what they kind of do. The Apollo chart isn't a pretty chart overall. It's just so crazy. So again, there is that kind of this large area of trading range that it was in for a while right there. Between like really, let's say right around $1.
Okay.
So really we want to be holding $1 for a while, seeing how we can behave around $1. We are trading above it so far. So if we can stay above $1.15, that's ideal. Like best case scenario for Apollo, we kind of do something like this, trading above $1.15. Kind of not so great would be kind of testing $1, then testing this side, then going lower. That would kind of be a bearish take on it. So again, like with most other charts, it's right at that range where you want to either bounce or just make a decision.
Okay. So Apollo,
yeah. So
and we did have that like
a lot of the charts are going to be looking very similar.
Yeah, they're actually like very like all the charts are very similar. All of them are basically like at support.
Yeah. No, we had this crazy move. Like this move was really just totally nuts.
Yeah. I was,
and it was holding, like it was doing pretty well, but I think these last 3 days of Luna, like a lot of these coins have just been following Luna, really.
Yeah, of course. And Luna's, obviously this market isn't like this isn't the most bullish market that we've ever been in. So even though there's all these fundamental things that are going on that are just like amazing, like Apollo participating in Astro Wars and being third in that, and that after we did Astro earlier, how there's an entire war of people buying Astro, and there's still all of this negative sell pressure. It's an interesting time that we're in right now. I really hope we kind of can get back into like a more of a bullish situation soon.
Yeah, totally.
Not saying I'm against it. I mean, like at the end of the day, I look at it. If it skyrockets downward, I look at that as like a buying opportunity, anyways, right? So pros and cons.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, man. But really, really appreciate you for sliding on as always, my friend. I think we're ended right here. To the audience out there, thank you guys very much for watching this episode of the Mighty Well Podcast TA Takeover. My friend Julian, can you tell them where to follow you at and all that good stuff?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter, King Julian I am. If you guys have questions, just hit me up there.
Awesome. To everyone out there, thank you so much for watching this. I'm your host, Breevie. He is also your host, Julian. This has been the Mighty Well Podcast, TA Takeover. Y'all have a good rest of the day. I'm going to hit this end record button, my friend.